It's the most wonderful time of the year. You know, that magical season when you sing carols, gather around the fire, and sip on hot cocoa. You just want to open the windows and shout out to anyone who can hear you, Merry
Hold it now.
All right, the crybabies over at fake news CNN are boycotting the White House Christmas party. Sarah Sanders, well, she's seeing the bright side. She said, quote, Christmas comes early. Finally, good news from CNN. And she was then retweeted by her boss, President Trump, who added, great, we should boycott fake news CNN. Dealing with them is a total waste of time.
This is CNN, home of fake news.
With the Christmas holiday right around the corner, millions of people are getting really into the spirit with the thoughts of family and gifts and, of course, Santa Claus.
So do us a favor here.
Yeah.
Victor had a very good idea.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes with me and think of Santa and his spouse. Now open them. This is the cover of the new book. Is this the image that popped in your head? This is the cover of Santa's Husband, a new children's book that hit stores nationwide this holiday season. And joining me now, the author, Daniel Kibblesmith, and illustrator Ashley Quach. Good morning to both of you.
Hi, hey, good morning.
So,
thanks for having us.
Certainly, thank you for coming in. This is new. Daniel, first to you, what inspired Santa's Husband?
It was sort of inspired by the annual tradition we have in this country of pretending that there's a giant war on Christmas and that traditional Christmas is under attack. So, among other things, we were reading all of the news about the Mall of America hiring a black Santa Claus last year. And me and my now wife made a joke on Twitter that if we ever had a child, they would only know about black Santa Claus. And if they saw a white Santa Claus at the mall, we would just explain, well, that's his husband.
Jesus, Mother Mary and Joseph, you piss yourself.
In the article, the author, Aisha Harris, argued that it was time to give old Saint Nick a makeover. The reactions have been, well, let's ask her. Aisha joins me now from New York. Thank you for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You know, I feel like your voice has sort of been missing in all of the coverage of this, at least the coverage that was on Fox this week. Tell us what the point you were trying to make was.
The point I was trying to make was that I think that the world has changed a lot over the last 50, 100 years. And Santa Claus is a fictional character. He is nothing like the original historical figure he was based off of anymore. We've kind of evolved him into this magical, mythical figure. And for kids, I think it's important that they don't have to feel necessarily bogged down that Santa is always white, and that's the way he should be. He's not real, so I think that it's important to incorporate a less ethnic appropriation of Santa.
I'm on my fucking lunch break, okay?
Yeah, and it's out now, available everywhere, actually. So let me read a couple of pages here. It says, like any married couple, they have their disagreements, but they always manage to kiss and make up, usually over a plate of milk and cookies. I'll read one of the online responses, too. I'm African-American. My family collects Black Santa figures, but I grew up never seeing Black Santas in the mall or on TV. Now that my nephew is 2, he's starting to understand the idea of Santa, and this book lets him know that Santa isn't just the old white fellow he sees in the mall. The real Santa looks more like him, and that's kind of cool. Ashley, important for children to see themselves.
Oh, absolutely. Gosh, one of my favorite things about this book, and especially as it's come out, are friends that have children, that have families, that have not seen themselves yet represented, whether these are families of color or whether these are gay families with children. And I've just loved seeing the children interact with the book. They really do seem to get it.
It's Miracle on 34th Street. It is every movie made about Santa Claus. He lives at the North Pole. You go find Black Santa at the North Pole. He's white, Peters. As for Jesus, Jesus is a real person. He was a Jew. I mean, if you want to tell me Jews aren't white, okay, but he's Jewish, so whatever that is.
So you would say unequivocally Jesus Christ was white as well?
Well, I'd say he's Jewish. That's what he was.
Is he white?
That's a fact.
Yeah, was he white?
I just said it. If you call Jews white, I mean, you can argue with me. Maybe they're big.
No, you didn't. I asked you if he was white, and you said he was Jewish, but was he white?
Well, I don't...
That's the debate, because Fox have made it very clear. Santa's white, Jesus is white.
He's not black. He is Middle Eastern. Maybe he's sort of beige, Piers.
I'm talking about firing a little black midget.
Now, this is a lot for some parents. Some people may not agree with it. Let me read one of the criticisms here. I'm a gay man, and honestly, the book is pretty patronizing and obviously meant to take two sweet things, the image of Santa Claus and love between two adults, and use them as a tool to express a political opinion in a polarizing way, especially the news anchor scene, in the guise of a children's book. I find it overall patronizing. I'm a little disgusted that the authors obviously use homosexuality as a political weapon to make a political statement under the cover of children. Listen, the elves have health care coverage. They settle labor disputes. You address climate change. Rudolph and Frosty attend Santa and David's wedding. I mean, are you using a children's book to push a political ideology, Daniel?
Well, I think that's a legitimate criticism. I mean, I'm literally on the news anchor scene right now. But, that's just the world that we come from. I'm a political satire writer. So when, I have the opportunity to write a book, these are the things that I care about and that I'm interested in. My only real response to that, I think, is that we're trying to put a net positive into the world and contribute to a vacuum of representation. But these are obviously our views. They're not everybody's views. And we're just very flattered that the response has been overwhelmingly positive so far.
The hell, buddy?
Buddy, I said I am not gay.
Are you off your fucking meds or something?
What Megyn Kelly said was very simply, quote, Santa is white, end of quote, and so is Jesus. So I think the real issue is, if you want to make a joke about Santa's whiteness, here's a way to do it that would not presume white normalcy or that white is the norm. You could say, for instance, and I would, that if there were Santa, he'd have to be white because no black man could break into millions of homes even if he was bearing presents and not be shot by some neighborhood watch captain. That's a way to be funny, but Fox News would never do that because that would presume that they had to admit racial profiling and racism were real.
Megyn Kelly did say that Santa is just white. She was very clear about that. And the fact is, where you can talk about that this is Santa and this is a fictitious character, but the real issue here is that people who think like Megyn Kelly believe it's more comfortable for them to believe that there's a white man flying around the earth with magical reindeer than to believe that a black man in the year 2013 can actually be kind, can be loving, and can actually be caring toward children. That's really the issue here. Not only do we need to see black Santas, but big ups to my Jamaican Santas.